नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Welcome everyone. We are studying the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 2, entitled Hiranyakashipu, the King of Demons. And we continue from text 25 onwards. एष आत्मविपर्यासो ह्यलिङ्गे लिङ्गभावना एष प्रिया प्रियैर्योगो वियोगः कर्म संसृति सम्भवश्च विनाशश्च शोकश्च विविधः स्मृतः अविवेकश्च चिन्ता च विवेका स्मृतिरेव च. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In his bewildered state, the living entity, accepting the body and mind to be the self, considers some people to be his kinsmen and others to be outsiders. Because of this misconception, he suffers. Indeed, the accumulation of such concocted material ideas is the cause of suffering and so called happiness in this material world. The conditioned soul, thus situated, must take birth in different species and work in various types of consciousness, thus creating newer bodies. This continued material life is called samsara. Birth, death, lamentation, foolishness, and anxiety are due to such material considerations. Thus, we sometimes come to a proper understanding and sometimes fall again to the wrong conception of life. So, in our ongoing discussion, we have been seeing the discourse, the pravachan of Hiranyakashipu to the family of Hiranyaksha. And he's speaking about Atma Tattva, speaking about the Atma. And here he says, Esha Atma Viparyasa. Viparyasa means bewilderment, confusion. The Atma goes through bewilderment, and as a result, Alinge Linga Bhavana. Although he is not male or female, the Atma by default is not male or female, but takes on material bodies and considers in some bodies to be male and some bodies to be female. And Esha Priya Apriya Yoga Viyoga Karma Samsriti. So basically, the Atma, as we were discussing in the previous examples of the hand with the glove, or the driver with the car, or the bird in the cage, we've given these examples. That is the Atma, that is the Jiva. Not the Paramatma, not the super soul, but just the Jiva, the spirit soul, us. And depending on what we are covered by, we start thinking that I am that. So in one life, let's say the covering is that of India, then we think that my country is the best. But let's say next life, the covering is that of Pakistan, then India becomes an enemy. So the person still remains the same, but depending on what kind of covering he puts on, the national anthem changes, the patriotism changes, the culture changes, everything changes because the person thinks, I am this body that he's actually covered by. So this is what Hiranyakashipu is saying, that when the soul enters the body, this is called birth. And when the soul exits the body, this is called death. The person is the soul and not the body. So when the body is left behind, Janeshu abhijneshu sa eva gokhara. Shastra describes that it is animalistic to think that the person was the body. Because we find this, I remember in the initial days of Krishna consciousness, one very nice devotee preacher, he was teaching us all this, and he said, this is my finger, but I am not this finger. And this is my hand or arm or wrist, but I am not this hand. Similarly, this is my leg. You can run with it, you can walk with it, you can play soccer with it, but it's yours, but you are not that leg. Similarly, he said, these are your eyes. You are not the eyes. Similarly, this is your body and you are not this body. That's how I remember in my childhood he had taught me. So I still remember, that's a very nice example. So, distinction between body and soul. Many times we say that I have a soul. No, no, no. You have a body. We sometimes say I have a soul. It's not that we are the body having a soul, we are the soul having a body. There's another devotee I heard this from. He said, we are not human beings with a spiritual side. We are spiritual beings with a human side. It's not that the humanness, the manavta is the first thing in us. We are spiritual beings completely. Sometimes people say spiritual but not religious. Have you heard that? I'm spiritual but I'm not religious. And the definition of that spirituality is whatever you think you can do. And you should accept everyone and you should not judge anyone and nobody should judge anybody and nothing is wrong. Everybody is right. How does that even make sense, right? How so if there is a doctor, the doctor must say that this is right and this is wrong. This is good for the body, this is bad for the body. This is prescription, this is proscription. Similarly, if you have a lawyer, you must have a court, which the judge and the lawyer put together, and the court there with the rules say this is allowed, this is not allowed. Feeding the child is correct, but kidnapping the child is wrong, right? There's right and wrong. You can't just say everything is right. Similarly, Shastra is what puts in the rules of conduct. Shastra is what puts in the etiquette. So when we follow Shastra, then it is correct. And when we don't follow Shastra, it is wrong. When you face the sun, you're in light. When you face away from the sun, there's shadow. So, but this is the actual understanding that spirituality or adhyatmic jivan means adhyatma, following Shastra. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam te karya akarya vyavastita. Shastra says what is karya, what is akarya, what should be done, what should not be done. And if Shastra is broken, यह शास्त्र विधिम उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिम अवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराम गतिम. Krishna says in the Gita, what to speak of Jivan Muktaha, to become completely liberated and mukti, one will not even be happy in this world if you break Shastra. There's no other science, there is no other field where you can say you can do whatever you want and it's all correct. Let's say it's music. Somebody's playing the harmonium. And instead of playing Saregama Pada Nisa, the person plays it in the wrong way. A good music teacher says, okay, that which matches the raga is allowed, that which doesn't match the raga is wrong. You have to say viveka and aviveka. You have to say what is right, vidhi and nisheda, do and don't. So you cannot say, I will accept everything. Of course, we must respect everyone, but to say all of that is spirituality doesn't make sense. This is why in the present generation there is so much confusion. And you will have everyone come up with their own philosophy. And there are some people who make reels saying, uh, I travel here, this is my spirituality, this is how I connect to God. And there'll be another 10 million views to that. Somebody else will say, my understanding is that in my heart, I worship God in this way. And then another 10,000 million or 10,000 or 10 million likes or following to that. We have to follow only one person, and that is Krishna in the Gita. Srila Prabhupada used to say about this. When somebody used to come and tell him things like this in the room, Prabhupada used to say that I have two options. I can either accept your word or I can accept Krishna's word in the Gita. And between the two, I prefer to accept Krishna's word, he would say. So those who study the Gita, quote the Gita, understand the Gita, the Bhagavad. Gita means Gita, Bhagavad, ityadi. When we understand Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand, we read, we quote, and whatever we say, we substantiate that with Praman. Then Shastra, then rules, then path is authentic. Otherwise, things are not authentic. I can go to Brindavan, I can try to act like a sadhu, or I can live at home and try to act like a sadhu. Doesn't matter whether here or there, what is the ultimate mapadanda or what is the yardstick is, are you following Shastra? Simple. The mantra that you're chanting, is that a proper mantra? The regulations that we have, is that proper? Sometimes people say, I can just eat meat and be spiritual. What's the problem? Why do you say no meat eating? You can't be a soldier by eating too much, right? You can't be a fat soldier. Imagine somebody is overweight and they can't even run a drill. You can be a soldier. You can be an athlete eating, you can eat popcorn and drink soda and then be a football player. It's not possible. Food and your culture has direct connection. When you eat meat, when you break regulative principles, when you drink alcohol, when you smoke, the consciousness gets corrupted with rajogun and tamogun, and in that you cannot remember Krishna. It's not possible. It's like the cloud which has covered you and we can't see the sun anymore. So therefore Shastra must be followed completely. When a jiva doesn't follow these things, he goes from one life to another life to another life in this illusion that Hiranyakashipu is talking about. The jiva is covered by a certain body and he accepts that body to be his self. And those who gave that body to him, he considers them to be his parents. Those who were sharing the same womb as the body, they consider them to be brother and sister and siblings. And in this way, those who are connected to that body are Priya. Those who are not connected to that body are Apriya. And when Priya Yoga, people whom you like come closer, there is Sukham. People whom you like go away, there is Dukkham. And people whom you don't like, they come closer, there is Dukkham. And people whom you don't like, they go away, there is Sukham. So this is exactly what is said here. Priya, Apriya, Yoga, Viyoga. Look at these words. Bhagavatam is so deep. Whatever we spoke till now, it's all encapsulated here. Esha Atma Viparyaso Alinge Linga Bhavana. The Atma gets confused and bewildered, although he has nothing to do with this world. He's Alinga, Linga Bhavana. He has the consideration that I am male and I am female. And Esha Priya, Apriya, Yoga, Viyoga, Karma Samsriti. The cycle of karma continues in this playing of my, not mine. To be or to not to be. This duality is what keeps it going. And then Sambhavascha, Vinashascha, Shokascha, Vividhasmrita. Sambhava means birth and Vinasha means death. We are born, let's say, as a puppy in some life. If somebody is born as a puppy in America, then you actually own the house. Congratulations, we own the house then. Because the master makes the money, he toils, he puts in the money to pay the mortgage, and he goes to work, and you have a nail spa for putting your nails as a puppy. And then you have a whole house to yourself. You have a little place to sit, and you get better food than the master of the house. The house master, he eats salad and he goes away to work because he has no time. And this puppy will get nice food and massage and walks. So if the puppy is born in America, then he's fortunate. He's a very fortunate puppy. But that same puppy is born, let's say, somewhere else, in some country where he's on the street, then there is no master. He just has to find his own shelter. He has to find, there's heat, there's cold, there's rain. He has to find his food in the dumpster, in the trash can. And sometimes the government dog cars will come in, trucks will come in to take these stray dogs, right? And the dogs also know, they start running away. And sometimes it's possible that humans don't have a problem with us when we become a dog, but other dogs have a problem with us. You enter their lane and they start barking as if it's. Have you seen sometimes these dogs have this mentality? This lane belongs to my father, that lane belongs to my father. This is our inheritance treat. And this is an outsider. Mamaka, Pandavaschaiva, Kimakurvata Sanjaya. This kind of duality is found in the start of the Bhagavad Gita. These are my men, these are not my men. And in that life, we don't do any bhajan. So that life is gone. Then from puppy life, when will we evolve and become a human being? And being a human being, meet Vaishnavas and have Sadbuddhi to do bhajan. And in that bhajan pravritti also, the ability to do bhajan, we become more stable and deep and attain the param drishtva nivartate, going through all the pains and pleasures of this world. Apiha dhira turnam yateta napateta anumrityu yavar. When will we cross? Now that we have attained this rarely attained human birth, let us not do anything that will take us down. Shastra is teaching us so kindly. If you follow these rules, you will not slip down. These are rules. Shastra is saying, Sambhavascha vinashascha shokascha vividha smritaha. Again and again we are born, and again we die, and shoka. There's so much suffering, so much lamentation. And vividha smritaha, different types of distress. Avivekascha chintacha, there is so much anxiety. There's a verse in Sanskrit which says, Chita and Chinta are two words. Both are fire. Chinta is also fire and Chita is also fire. Chita means the funeral pyre, the fire that's used to burn the body. The difference between the two fires is Chita Agni burns us after the soul leaves. The body is burnt. And the Chinta Agni is what takes us there. The anxiety takes us there to quick departure. And Aviveka cha Chinta cha, because of lack of discrimination, there is so much distress. And Viveka Asmriti Revach. And sometimes we realize, we read Shastra, we hear Hari Katha, next moment we forget. Next moment we forget. In such a state, Hiranyakashipu is saying, how deeply learned is that? How deeply learned is that? No devotee can speak like this. This needs high level of realization. And he's Jai and Vijay, right? He's from the Jai Vijay too. So what he's speaking is the realization of his heart. And because of not knowing this, the soul goes through one body after another, after another, after another, and cycle continues in this world. I was once in a car driving, and on both sides there were a lot of trees. I was with a devotee. So I was driving and he was on the passenger seat. And as I was driving, it was a long drive. So there were so many trees on both sides. And the devotee looked at me and he said, "Do you see these trees?" I said, "Yes, Prabhuji." He said, "All these trees are waiting in line to become a human being." It hit me so hard because there were so many trees. And he said, they are all waiting in line on both sides just to become a human being. And that's the form we have attained, he said. So next time when we drive through a bus or train or car and you see trees around, this is not some special line. They're standing in general queue, waiting when will their time come when they can become a human being. So there is soul in the tree body. There is soul in animal body. There is soul in bird body. There is soul in human body. But this is most fortunate, this body. Shastra describes Nrideham Adhyam Sulabham Sudurlabham Plavam Sukalpam Gurukarnadharam Mayanukulena Nabhasvateritam Puman Bhavabdhim Nattaretsa Atmaha. This material world of suffering is an ocean, salt water ocean. There is so much trouble here. Trishna toye madana pavano dhuta mohormi male. Dara varte tanaya sahaja graha sangakulecha. संसाराख्ये महति जलदाम मज्जतस नत्रिदामन पादाम भोज वरद भवतो भक्ति नावम प्रयच्छ. Kulshekhar ji has written that this world is such an ocean that Trishna Toye, as much water exists in an ocean, that's how many material desires we have in our heart. As many drops of water in the ocean, that's how many Trishna, hankering, material desires we have in our heart. Okay, now to add more trouble, the breeze blowing on the top of this ocean is our lusty desires. That's the breeze which keeps this water going. And we see the waves coming in, crashing on the shore, and then more waves coming in. Those are our material plans. Today I will do this, tomorrow I will do this. And whether or not it happens, it crashes, then the next wave is ready to come behind. There's a plan A, there's a plan B, there's a plan C in the ocean. So I hope we're all understanding the whole graphical analysis. As much water in the ocean, that's how many material desires are there. The blowing of the breeze on the surface are the lusty tendencies in every male and female. And the waves that are coming in, the tides that are coming in, they are our material plans. आज मैं ये करूंगा, कल मैं वो करूंगा, I will do this, then I will do that, then I will do this. Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. People make plans. So once I give my exam, then let's say I come second in class. Because you cannot say first out of humility, right? So let's say we came second in class. Then I'll get into that job. Then once I get into that job with this degree, then I'll make so much money. With that money, I think I should only use so much money every month, and this much is how much I should invest. Then at the end of about 5 years, that money will become so many lakh rupees. Then with that, I think I should buy this. All this planning is going on. Still not purchased the book to study for that exam. And plans are being made. I will come second in that exam and then I'll get a job. And I haven't even purchased the textbook to study. So these many waves and plans in the ocean of our life continue. And then in that ocean, Dara Varte Tanaya Sahaja Graha Sangha Kulecha. We have friends and family and relative. They're all like fishes underwater. Kulashekar, actually, King Kulashekar Alwar, he says whales and sharks and crocodile. But I'm keeping it more palatable as fishes, water fishes. Because when you put something in the ocean, the fishes are coming to chew a little piece out of it. So as we are drowning in this ocean of samsar, the underwater fishes are our friends. We want to chant, the friends will say, there's so much time for all this. Don't do so much bhakti. Well, let's go to this shopping mall. Let's go to this cricket stadium. So the fishes in the ocean of this world are taking a piece after piece after piece of our energy. And then we say, okay, okay, I need to study. Then parents will say, Mama aa rahe hain ghar mein. Mama is coming. Mommy is coming. The relatives are coming. Your cousins are coming. Chalo, you help out in cleaning the house. We say, okay, I need to study. Okay, no, that's fine. All year you have not studied. So now you help out in doing something. Relatives are coming. They are as good as our parents. You should serve them, etc., etc. So relatives take a little portion, friends take a little portion, spouse takes a little portion, kids take a little portion, parents take a little. Everybody, they're all like fishes in our life, taking little by little by little. Somehow our time is gone. Our devices take time. Internet takes away time. All of these gadgets, everything takes. Samsara ke mahati jalado majjatam nastridhaman. O Lord of the three worlds, I am drowning in this ocean. As the soul, I am drowning. Krishna saying, but I gave you a boat. The boat is the human birth. The soul, when it sits in an animal body, it's sinking. But when the soul is in the human body, it's like a baby who has a float around him in a swimming pool. Nothing is going to happen. He's not going to drown. He has a little float around his waist. So instead of coming out of that pool, what are we doing with that float of the human body? We are swimming in this ocean. We are enjoying our body. Not to realize that very soon that float will be burst and we will sink in another body down. Then Shastra says, the boat that you have is the human body, and the person who is going to take you across on that boat is Sri Guru, Guru Karanadharam. He's the captain on your ship. So we are the passenger, the ship is the human body, Guru is the captain. He's giving you direction. And the winds that are taking this boat from this end to that end are Shastra. So basically, stay in this human body and listen to the Acharyas, listen to Shastra, and keep rowing your boat in the right direction. That is what this verse means. Padam bhoja varada bhavato bhakti navam prayacha. Oh Krishna, please give me some devotion so that I can keep rowing on this in the boat of this body from this end to that end around across this cycle of birth and death. So here Hiranyakashipu is saying about Sambhavascha Vinashascha. We are taking one birth after another. And when we are dying in one body, out of one body, the relatives there are crying. And that same soul enters another mother's womb, that family is celebrating that a child is going to be born. Now, this child in the future grows up and dies, that family will cry. Where that soul enters another family, they will rejoice. And this continues. And this goes on and on and on and on. When somebody leaves their body, also we say so and so person passed away. What passed away? Body is there. All that we have seen in the person is there. What passed away? The soul passed away. The Atma passed away. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada used to say, you cannot explain spiritual life unless you speak of the Atma. Because with this Atma, all other concepts are connected. This is the primary. Srila Prabhupada used to say, you are not this body, but spirit, soul. This is the first lesson on the path of bhakti or on the path of spiritual life. Because unless we understand we are the Atma, we can't overcome many problems. Atma coming through so many bodies, which means Atma has past life, which means Atma has future life, which means what we did causes the body today and what we do today causes the body in the future. Great. Not just that, because karma is involved with the Atma for lifetimes, everything that happens today may not be necessarily connected to the circumstance today. It may be a reaction coming from the past, and therefore, if you act on that reaction, you're creating a future reaction. When you throw a ball to the wall, it's going to come back. Now, if you hit it with the bat, now it's going to come back with more force. Instead, when you throw the ball to the wall and it comes back, just catch it. That is tolerance. Because what we have done in the past is throwing a certain action, and now it's coming back to us. Now, if you react to that with the bat of ego, then it's going to come back with more force in the future. So therefore, tolerance, therefore humility, therefore forgiveness towards the person who's doing it, because you understand they're not responsible. We have reactions from past lives. And then we also understand because we are Atma, what keeps us in this world? That also we understand. How do we get out of this world? That also we understand. We belong to Krishna. If Krishna is there and I am here, how do I go back to him? That also we understand. So all concepts are connected to the Atma. If we have Atma as the central concept, then we understand, okay, if everybody is Atma and I have relation with everybody because we are all children of Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, then we have Swastyastu Vishwasya Khala Prasidatam, then Sarve Sukhina Santu. You don't have malice towards anybody because everyone belongs to Krishna, whether in your family or another family. There's a international connection, intercosmic connection, interspecies connection. Like trees which are standing tall, they are apart. Even in a storm, they don't move. Why? Because underground, there are roots which have bound each other so thick. Therefore, they don't move, which means we are all like trees as Atma, and we may be distant. We may be two different trees. But if the roots of spiritual understanding are strong between us, that we belong to Krishna, the underground roots are strong, even when there's a turmoil outside, the storm, it doesn't affect the trees. On the other hand, if the roots are not strong, the tree may be very close to one another, but one storm and the tree falls because the roots are not together. Spiritual roots are important, right? So that is what Shastra teaches us. Srila Prabhupada gave us this unparalleled gift. He gave this gift to the whole world. We can hear so many stories, but it doesn't solve our avidya. Siddhanta baliya chitte nakaro alas, iho hoite Krishna lage sudrida manas. Unless we genuinely understand the philosophy, we understand the tattva behind everything, our mistakes cannot be solved. So now in this regard, Hiranyaksha starts giving a story. From text 27 onwards, Hiranyakashipu, please forgive me, he is narrating a story of Yamaraj speaking to the friends of a dead person. उषी नरेष्वभूत राजा सुयज्ञ इति विश्रुतः सपत्नैर्निहतो युद्धे ज्ञातयस्तम उपासत. In the state known as Ushinara, there was a celebrated king named Suyajna. When the king was killed in battle by his enemies, his kinsmen sat down around the dead body and began to lament the death of their friend. So to make one point, we're going to another point, to another point, to another point. See how many conversations are in here. First, the outermost conversation is Sutta Goswami speaking to Shaunaka Rishi. That's the outermost at Naimisharanya. But Suta Goswami is speaking to Shaunaka Rishi what he heard from Shukadev Goswami while he spoke to Parikshit Maharaj on the banks of the Ganga. Right? So, first conversation is Suta Goswami speaking. Inside that, he is relating what Shukadev Goswami spoke. But Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit what Narada Muni spoke to Yudhishthir Maharaj at the Rajasuya Sabha. And there Narad Muni is speaking to Yudhishthir Maharaj the story of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad, where he said how Hiranyakashipu is speaking katha to pacify the family of Hiranyaksha. And Hiranyakashipu in that katha is now speaking to the family of Hiranyaksha the story of a person, a king who died, a king called Suyajna, who died in a city called Ushinara. And all his family, his children, and his queens were all lamenting. And Yamaraj himself came as a young boy to pacify them on Atma Tattva. So, what Yamaraj spoke to the wives of Suyajna has been relayed by Hiranyakashipu to the wives of Hiranyaksha, which has been relayed by Narada Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj, which has been spoken by Shukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, which is repeated by Suta Goswami to Shaunaka Rishi at Naimisharanya. I hope this is clear, one inside the other. So this king has died, and his departed body is being described here in 29, 30, and 31. Vishirna Ratna Kavacham. His jeweled kavach. This king had a kavach, an armor on his chest, and Vishirna Ratna Kavacham. That Ratna Kavacha, full of jewels, has been broken, scattered because of the attack of the enemy. And Vibhrashta Abharana Srajam. Vibhrashta, again, brushed hona, to fall off, to get distracted from one's place. Sthana Bhrashta, to fall. Abharana, all his ornaments have fallen, all his garlands have fallen, all his kavacha is cracked, and Shara Nirbhinna Hridayam, arrows have gone all over his body. This king is dead on the battlefield, and his wives are crying over his body. And when Yamaraj is about to speak, that king's position, bodily position, is being described here. So his kavacha is cracked, his ornaments are all fallen off, the flower garlands have fallen off, and Shara Nirbhinna Hridayam, his heart, his chest, his arms are cut out, legs are cut, there's blood, wound all over the place, arrows going through his chest. And Shayanam Asrig Avilam, he is laying down asrik, which means covered with blood. There's blood all over from head to toe. And prakirana kesham dwastaksham. Prakirana kesham, his hair, his face is all covered with the dust of the chariot, the horses, the elephants, the battlefield. With all that dust, his face, his hair is covered. And dwastaksham, his eyelids are open and eyes are uh, turned upwards. Rabhasa dashtat dachhadam. While fighting, he had his teeth biting his lips because he was fighting with so much virras, fighting spirit, that he died with his teeth pressed on his lips. And Srila Prabhupada writes a brilliant purport saying that that is our situation in this world. We try our best and still Maya wins over. We try to bite our lips and fight life to get things our way, but somehow we die and we fail in our attempt. हार जाते हैं हम. And Rajakuntha Mukhambhojam. Rajakuntha Mukhambhojam, as we previously explained, his face was completely like Prakirana Kesham, hair completely opened. His face is completely now covered with dust, Raja. And Chinna Ayudha Bhujam Mrudhe. On that battlefield, Chinna means काट देना, छेद हो जाना, to dissect something. So all his weapons were fallen, his arms were cut out, and उषि नरेन्द्रम विधिना तथा कृतं पतिम महिष्य prasamiksh dukkhita. All his wives were very sorrowful. They were crying. Hatasma natheti karair uro brusham घ्नन्तो मुहुस्तत्पदयो upapatan. They were falling at his feet, holding his feet, crying, and with their arms, with their fists closed, they were beating their chest and crying. You see, sometimes that happens even in the villages in India. Sometimes you see some women in great pain, they are crying like that. So these queens were crying, oh, where did our husband go? Oh, why did you leave us? Why did you leave us? Who did this to you? We can't see you like this. Rudatya Uchchair Daitangri Pankajam. Rudatya Uchchaihi. They started crying very loudly. Daita Angri Pankajam at the lotus feet of their husband, the king. And Sinchantya Ashrair Kucha Kumkumarunai. They were weeping and crying, and tears were dripping from their eyes and falling at their feet, the feet of their husband. Vistrasta Kesha Bharana Shucham Nranam Srujantya Akrandanaya Vilepire. They were seeing that the husband that they saw with so much aristocracy and so much handsome features was now completely in pieces. His crown was somewhere, even his limbs were cut out. There's blood all over, there's dust all over. His hair is scattered, his armor is broken, his ornaments, weapons, garlands, everything to pieces. And seeing this, they started lamenting so loudly. अहो विधात्रा अकरुणेन न प्रभो भवान प्रणीतो दृग गोचराम दशाम उषी नराणाम असिवृत्यदः पुरा कृतोधुना येन शुचाम विवर्ध अहो विधात्रा अकरुणेन न प्रभो. Oh dear husband, I don't know why Vidhata, why Brahmaji, why Bhavishya or the will of providence is so powerful when akarunena, without any mercy, got us together and separated us. The gopis cried out like this when Krishna left Vrindavan. Aho vidhata tavana kvachid daya. In the 39th chapter of the 10th canto. Brahmaji, what is this? When Krishna was in Vrindavan, you gave us eyelids, which were blocking our vision of Krishna. And even if you gave us eyelids, those when we open, and the time between the blinking, those eyes are filled with tears, so we still cannot see Krishna. And you're giving us only two eyes to see Krishna. Should you see his nose, or should you see his eyes, or ears, or chin, or cheek, or arms, or chest, or feet, or hands, or how can with two eyes? It's like it's raining and you need water, and you take a Achaman cup to collect water from the rain. That's all you can collect. Why don't you take a bucket? Brahmaji, you are giving us only two eyes to see Krishna. And those two eyes also you have put eyelids. And then between the blinking also there is tears. And then when Krishna goes, you bring him to Vrindavan, and then you through Akrura take him far away. And now once he has gone to Mathura, we are still blinking and seeing things that we don't want to see. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad has written, apart from the fragrance of Krishna's feet, we don't want anything in this world. What to speak of Jagat Satyam Asatyam Va? Koyam Tasmin Duragraha. Some people say Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, this world is true or this world is fake. Jiva Goswami Pad says, what to speak of world being true or fake? Even if something is true, it doesn't matter to us unless it is connected to the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet. Satyam Satyam Nanah Krishna Padab Jamoda Mantara. Jagat Satyam Asatyam Va Koyam Tasmin Duragraha. Jiva Goswami Pad says, as Brajbasis, this is our attachment to Krishna. That we want to connect ourselves only if that is connected to, we want to connect ourselves to someone or something only if that's connected directly to the fragrance of Krishna's feet. Fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet means Krishna. Out of respect, you say Krishna's lotus feet. Because we cannot say Krishna, because he's the Lord of the whole world. So Jiva Goswami Pad is not even saying, he's not saying Krishna, he's not saying Krishna's lotus feet, he says the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet. How much respect. Satyam Satyam Nana Krishna Padabja Amoda Mantara. something not connected to the fragrance of the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Even if it is Satya, we don't want it. Then what to speak of this world, which only gives temporary pleasure and has nothing to do with Krishna? We definitely don't want it, Jiva Goswami Pada writes in the Sandarbhas. So the point is, the gopis were criticizing Brahmaji like that. And that is Satyam, that is the truth, feeling of separation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relished that verse in the Gambhira, where he used to cry in separation from Krishna in the mood of the gopis. When Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Radharani, used to cry, Aho Vidhata Tavana Kvachit Daya. Oh Brahmaji, why are you doing this? So that is truth. That is eternal gopis, eternal Krishna, eternal bhakti, and that relation is eternal. The emotions are eternal. But here you can see reflection, this verse. Wives of Suyajna crying in separation of Suyajna. Suyajna is a king for one life. Those jivas who consider themselves to be female are connected to him as wife in one life. And when he departs, they're weeping. So this is temporary lamentation. So they are saying that, Brahmaji, O Vidhata, why have you done this? You have taken our master away from us. And now we are not able to see him. He got in so much fortune. He got so much fortune to people in the state of Ushinara. But as much joy he gave while he was alive, so much suffering he's giving to all of us by his departure. त्वया कृतं त्वया कृतज्ञेन वयं महीपते कथम विनाश्याम सुरि श्याम सुरितमेन ते तत्रानुयानं तव वीरपादयो शुश्रूषतीनां दिशयत्र यास्यसि. The queens are weeping. त्वया कृतज्ञेन वयं महीपते कथम विनाश्याम. How can we live? कथम श्याम, हम कैसे जी सकते हैं? These queens are crying. How can we live Tvaya Vina, without you? O Kritajna, O very grateful, O King with all good qualities, O Mahipate, O King of this world, O Surittama, O best of our friends. See how many emotions are attached here. Tvaya Vina, Vayam Katham Syama. How can we live without you? Actually, each queen is saying this individually. So they can actually say aham, but there's using vayam. Vayam is plural usage. So it's not that all the queens in one voice are saying this verse. Individually, the queens are crying and they are weeping to their king. But why the word vayam has been used? Because each queen, although they're talking about themselves, they are using plural usage. Why? Because in Sanskrit there is a rule, and this is you can see in Hindi also, in other Indian languages also. When you talk to somebody and you want to give respect, you use bahuvachan, you use plural usage. But there are cases in Sanskrit where you can use plural for yourself to show fortune, not to show pride. The wives of King Ujinara here are using the word vayam, tvaya vina katham syama. Vayam means aham avam vayam, we. They are using plural usage for themselves. It's not pride. It is to show that we are so glorious that we were connected to you. When Parikshit Maharaj says, Vayam dhanyatama loke guropi kshatra bandhava, why is he saying Vayam for himself? Plural usage. Say, I am so fortunate. I feel like respecting myself because I'm so fortunate because I'm connected to you, O Shukadev Goswami. And that's the mood in which the queens are speaking here. On the other hand, another culture that is found in Shastra is speaking in third person for the self. And Sri Jiva Goswami Pad uses that. While writing the Sandarbhas, he'll say, Kopi Jivaka. This was compiled and written by some Jiva. And not even Jiva, he says Jivaka, which means some insignificant small Jiva somewhere. Like that kind of usage. Some insignificant Jiva somewhere has written this. So there are two extremes of usage. On one's own, one writes with humility. And at the same time, in connection to a great soul, one writes with so much. They use the word vayam for themselves. I'm just giving a little grammatical perspective because it helps us understand even the mood here. So, Toya Kritajnena Vayam Mahipate, O King of this world, O Kritajna, O grateful, O Surittama, O best among friends, Toya Vina, without you, Katham Vayam Syama. How can we live without you? Therefore, O King, wherever you have gone, you please tell us and take us there. We will continue to serve you from one life to another. These queens are lamenting with so much love. एवं विलपति नाम वै परिगृह्य मृतं पतिम अनिच्छति नाम निर्हारम अर्कोस्तं संन्यवर्तत. So now the uh, sun was setting and the body had to be cremated. Everyone was telling the queens that, okay, now the body has to be put on the pyre and cremated. And they were keeping the king close to their lap. They were keeping the king close to them and weeping and crying and saying, no, no, we won't let the body being taken. So here it is described when the sun was setting, they were all crying around the body. And they said, we won't let this person be cremated. As they were crying very loudly, Tatraha Preta Bandhunam Ashrutya Paridevitam Ah Tan Balako Bhutva Yama Swayam Upagata. Wow, wow. Yama himself came there, hearing the loud cry of these queens. When they were crying so loudly, it was heard even in Yamalok. So Yamaraj himself assumed Balaka Bhutva, becoming taking the form of a child. Balaka, a little boy, and he Upagata. He came there and he started speaking to all of them. Sri Yama Uvacha. So now you see the conversation, Yamaraj is starting to speak. So you see conversation inside a conversation. Please don't forget the nested conversation, one inside the other. Sri Yama Uvacha, Aho Amisham Vayasadhikanam Vipashyatam Loka Vidhim Vimoha Yatra Gatastatra Gatam Manusyam Swayam Sadharma Abhishochyata Shochantyya Partham. Aho Amisham Vayasa Adhikanam Vipashyatam Loka Vidhim Vimoha. Alas, 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 this is Aho. This is Ashcharyam, Aho Ashcharyam. How astonishing, Yamaraj is speaking. All of them are older to me. Vayasa Adhikanam. They're all talking about the queens. They're all older than me. And Vipashyatam, every single day they keep seeing Loka Vidhi. What is the Loka Vidhi? Yatra Agata Tatra Gatam Manushya. That he who comes has to leave. He who enters the tunnel has to leave the tunnel someday. So this is a fact. This is an international fact. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. Ahanyahani bhutani gachanti ha yamalayam sheshasthavar michanti kimaschari mathaparam. Very famous verse that Srila Prabhupada used to quote from the Vana Parva of the Mahabharata, where Yamaraj himself asked Yudhishthir Maharaj, what is the most astonishing thing in this world? And Yudhishthir Maharaj said, Ahani Ahani Iha Bhutani Gachanti Yama Mandiram or Yamalayam. Iha Asmin Samsare, Asmin Vishwe, in this world, what is astonishing, Ashcharyam, is daily, every moment, Bhutani, Jivas, Yamalaye Gachanti. They all, Yamalayam Gachanti. They all go to the abode of Yamaraj. Everybody at every moment is dying. Somebody or the other is dying in this world continuously. Therefore, this world is called Mrityuloka or Martyaloka. येषां न विद्या न तपो न दानं ज्ञानं न शीलं न गुणो न धर्म ते मृत्युलोके ननु भूताः मनुष्यरूपेण मृगाश्चरन्ति. This world is called Mrityuloka. Constant death is going on. But still, what is the most astonishing thing? This happened to him, this happened to him, this happened to them. It won't happen to me. Every jiva is thinking like this. Corona pandemic, they got coronavirus. Oh, they got coronavirus. Okay, okay. I am safe. Ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. Nothing will happen to me. I will live a long life. And everybody is in this illusion. We are all like the goat which is standing in line to be slaughtered. And one goat is dying, and the goat after it is busy eating green grass, thinking that goat has a bad day, not me. But we're all standing in this line. The Puranas actually give one more interesting Kimashcharya Mata Param verse. Sulabham Bhagavan Nama Jivha cha Vashavartini Tathapi Narakam Yanti Kimashcharya Mata Param. Krishna has fit the tongue in the mouth. Wherever we go, we take the mouth, we take the tongue with us. The holy name is freely available and can be chanted by everyone at all times without any condition whatsoever. And one utterance of the holy name can save us from hell. But what's more astonishing than the first astonishing verse is tongue is in the mouth. The holy name is easily available, and by chanting we can be free from hell. Still we somehow find our way and go to hell. Kim Ascharya Matha Param. What can be more astonishing than that? What can be more astonishing than that? So here Yamaraj is saying, Aho Amisham Vayasadhikanam, look at all of them. They're all older than me. And Vipashyatam Loka Vidhim Vimoha. They see this Vimoha, Vipashyatam, they see this every single day, that Yatra Agata Tatra Gatam Manushyam, that every human, every person who comes in has to leave. And this is the nature of this world. Still Shochanti Apartham, still they are crying. Seems like they still haven't known. So, does that mean bhakti makes us hard hearted? The answer is no. Bhakti doesn't make us hard hearted, and it is not pessimistic, it is realistic. Sometimes when we talk about death and we talk about Atma, people say, let's change the topic, let's speak something else. Because it's making us uncomfortable, because it's speaking the truth. And it is not being negative, it's being completely optimistic. It's being so there's one end where it's delusional, where somebody thinks, okay, everybody will make this world a better place to live in. You be happy, I be happy, we all be nice to one another. It's not going to work because this is Martyaloka, this is Dukhalayam. Krishna himself, who made this world, as stamped Ashashwatam, temporary and suffering prone. Then when we think that we will do this to make the world a better place to live in, etc., 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 that is being delusional. Then being negative is people who are getting to loneliness and isolation and insecurity, inferiority complex, depression, etc., etc., where it's neither materially good nor spiritually empowering. But this is realistic, where we understand where to give our time and where not to give our time. For temporary gains, let's say somebody robs a bank. What is the gain? Think about it. The gain is some few $1,000s, few thousand rupees. But then you will use it and it'll get exhausted in no time. But the karma that we have incurred by doing something unethical, stheyam, stealing, is one of the 5 maha papa, great sins. It's called as the maha pataka. They are top 5 sins in Shastra. Stealing is one of them, apart from drinking alcohol and meat eating and gambling and illicit sex life and all of that. So breaking into a bank or breaking into a house and stealing something from someone, causing harm to them, they're making money with their hard work. And we by force keep them on gunpoint and knife point and murder and kill and kidnap and take money, or sometimes extortion and ransom and whatnot, just to make a few rupees. Think about it. The gain is so little and the loss is so much more, because now to suffer that jiva, the atma, has to go through so many births, because that reaction will come in a very bad way. Drive a car without seeing what's coming ahead, we will have accidents. We can't just think enjoy the BMW and don't worry, close your eyes and keep moving the steering. Doesn't work like that. You have to watch your left lane and right lane and your speed and cars in front of you, cars behind you. That is not being pessimistic, that's just being realistic. And that's exactly spiritual life. When you do a certain activity, what are the reactions that are going to come for it? And if the reactions are going to be more dangerous than the gain, don't do it. Simple. However tempting it may be, don't do it. Eating something, okay, it may be tasty on the tongue. This few inches, that's all. When it goes down from the throat, when it goes down the throat, whether it's neem leaf, whether it's water, or whether it's rasgulla, doesn't matter. It's just going to go the same way. It's only here that we make so many plans about. Now, for that, if it's not offered to Krishna, or if it's something that's, let's say, worse, it's meat, just for here to here, we are ready to make an animal go from life to death. How brutal is that? How brutal is that? More than 70% of the world population is a meat eater is meat eating at the moment. Unless we understand the Atma Tattva and we understand that the animals who are being slaughtered also have Atma. They are Atma. Their bodies are so dear to them as our bodies are dear to us. So therefore, what Prabhupada did was unparalleled. What he did was unparalleled. So many Swamis came at that time and they were trying to fit into the American society. Prabhupada did not do that. He spoke the truth. He spoke the truth, unparalleled. No sugarcoating, no butter coating. He just spoke the truth. He wanted to save. Even if 10 people become devotees, they become devotees for Shastra. They are not cheated. So Prabhupada came and he got people from drinking alcohol to drinking Charanamrit. He just didn't come and give classes. He got in a lifestyle change, habit change. What unparalleled Shakti of Krishna. Krishna Shakti bina nahi tar pravartan. Without Krishna Shakti, it's not possible to leave Radha Damodar in the 1960s and come on a cargo ship to America and speak to the locals. He didn't catch the Indians here. He caught the locals. He caught the Americans here and the Europeans. And he was speaking to them unadulterated, unfiltered, pure spiritual, philosophical, shastric points. No sadhu has the, generally, people don't have the power to do that. We try to kind of package. And some of Prabhupada's disciples, they were asking, Swamiji, we heard this another mantra, and they heard some concocted mantra somewhere. Can we chant that also? And they were so new, Prabhupada couldn't say no to them. So Prabhupada said, oh, you want to chant a new mantra? Sure, I will teach you a new mantra. And Prabhupada taught them Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So teaching them Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, introducing them to Bhagavad Gita. Unbelievable. And Prabhupada's classes, if you see, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Very few stories, but he's speaking philosophy. It's the words of a sadhu cutting all our misconceptions in the heart. We may want to hear stories, but we need to hear what Shastra is offering us, right? So therefore, I'm requesting again, please read Prabhupada's books and hear Prabhupada's classes. They do to the heart what really needs to be done. Because he got in phalena parichiyate. You know a tree by the fruits the tree gives. You know the tree by the fruits he gives. So look at the fruits that Prabhupada gave. He transformed the whole world. So please read Prabhupada Leelamrit, which talks about his life. Please hear Prabhupada's classes, read Prabhupada's books. One devotee in America once told me, I asked him, Prabhu, what's your spiritual desire? And he said, I want Prabhupada's classes and Prabhupada's purports like IV into my bloodstream. That's what he said. Because I went to his home and there were so many spiritual books and they were all in packaged cover. It wasn't opened. So I asked him about these books. He said, my wife buys them. My wife purchases, he said. He said, but she's so busy with work, she's not been able to open even a single book. I said, then why don't you read? He said, no, I am still finding difficult to find time to read all of Prabhupada's books. So I will finish Prabhupada's books and then I'll get to all this, he said. And I know he has finished Bhagavatam at least 3-4 times. And Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So, yeah. So to conclude, this verse, and with this we will stop. Here, Yamaraj has just started to see this situation and see how the queens are lamenting, how this world is a place of certainty. Therefore, they say, as sure as death. Have you heard this statement? People say, oh, this is as sure as death, which means that is one thing. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. Krishna says in the Gita. That's another thing. Studying Bhagavad Gita is very important. Very, very important. uh, Second chapter Bhagavad Gita, and of course 7 to 12th chapter, ninth chapter, yeah, 7 to 12 section, 15th chapter, 18th chapter, all very important chapters. When you read them and memorize important verses and study those purports, when somebody asks a question, your mind will say, no, but Krishna says like this, Prabhupada writes like this. That gives us clear cut compass of what is right and what is wrong. So now, after this, Yamaraj will start speaking to the queens and to pacify them and speak about Atma Tattva, which Hiranyakashipu will relay to Hiranyaksha's family and they will feel pacified. And then Narad Muni will continue the story. After all this Hari Katha, what did Hiranyakashipu do to the world? So that will be the third chapter that will follow. Okay, so we'll pause here. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. We'll see all of you day after tomorrow. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Radha Sham Sundar ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe Sham. Jai ho. Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai.